and his GTQ automatic. Cody's telling me that licking ice cream is old news. I guess I didn't keep up with it. Oh, that's no fun. Whoa, easy. Man, Glenn Mace dropped the hammer, dropped the red light, and then Joe Gallaccio stood that thing straight up. 10:51 for the win for Gallaccio with a 427 car, 98 miles an hour. 1086 to 121 miles an hour for Glenn Mace. His car stood up pretty well also, but it just stood up too early. It's like, you know, you do the lean to the left, lean to the right, stand up, sit. If you stand up before you lean to the right, that's too early. Tyler Bohannon in the Sunfire, Chuck Weber in the Camaro. Both of them away on the right color this time. That's a good sign. Now let's see if Chuck Weber can hold Tyler Bohannon off as they close in down to the finish line stripe. Survey says that give it to Tyler Bohannon. He goes 981 at 129 miles an hour for the win. 1006 at a $130 for Chuck Weber. Not good enough. Chuck had a reaction time started with a 1. That is usually a bad idea. In this case, it was a bad idea. That'll bring up Mike Pearson's Super I automatic. Let's say Super A automatic with 327. That'd be something. And Lloyd Wolford in the factory Super Stock. Lloyd Wolford out of Engines Inc. And Mike Pearson, the Mad Racing Team. I still haven't figured out what Mad is. It's got to be Mike and something, or Mike Andy David, Mike. Maybe I'll figure it out someday. Down to the stripe. Both drivers pretty darn good on the tree, and wow, dead on beats dead on. Lloyd Wolford goes 0-18 and then threw an egg in Mike Pearson's lap, and he had nothing for that. 5 thou behind on the start, dead on 9 at the finish line, and no chance to win the race. Mike Pearson did a really nice job. Lloyd Wolford did a better job. Steve Zupka in the left side, the factory Super Stocker. Ronnie Williams, the GT L automatic. 901 for the win for Zoop. 130 miles an hour. Ronnie Williams had a reaction time of 200. 200, not good. Definitely not in this case. 3 over the dial and well behind. Ernie Neal's Cavalier next, and that is a clutch car over there on the left side of the racetrack, Jeff Atkinson. The factory GTC? Have I not seen this car? Does that thing really have a late model 427 in it? That's cool. Hang on, wow. Ernie Neal's car was up, second gear in the air, and then it went left while it was still in the air. This just in, hard to steer one of those things when the front wheels are 4 feet off the ground. Ernie Neal gets the win, 914 on the 912 prediction. Atkinson is 1 above the dial, 891 on the 890, but Jeff was late pulling the trigger, and Ernie was working it, pulling the handle, and Ernie's going to end up getting the W. Now it's Joe Tysinger. Rich Beery The Copa over here on the right side. Joe Tysinger, that is a substantial head start. And here comes Beery. Not gonna catch him. 10:43 on the 10:41 for the win, 126 this speed. Beery goes 8:35 at 166 miles an hour. Not getting there. Sterling Simmons now in the Cavalier on the left side, Larry Trogdon in the Cobalt on the right side. F automatic versus B modified. Better than a 1 second head start is going to the left lane. Both of them up, both of them out. Trogdon's car getting a little bit wacky as it heads on down there. 8:16, 163 miles an hour. Sterling Simmons goes 9:31 at 141. 0:10 to 0:11 on the light. Trogdon's 3 above for the win. Terry Irwood, Tyler Kahele. How about the 1980 Aspen wagon? I mean, there's a couple of those in captivity. There's a couple of guys out in Vegas that have one. The Irving family, but you don't see nearly as many of those, kind of like you do the Boo wagon. With Tyler Kahele in the truck, it's like a battle of who can haul the most stuff. The station wagon against the pickup down to the stripe, and this one's going to go Tyler's way. Better on the tree was Earwood, but back of the dial was Earwood. He predicted a 1084, he ran 1091, and that's not getting it done. Tyler behind at the start, 2 thou out in front at the finish line. Terry Earwood looked like trying to drive the stripe and gave it back. Oops. How about Jeff Jewell? That is a 1967 427 Corvette. Cool car alert, and Roy Hill in the Cobra Jet. Factory GTB with a supercharged 5-liter, dialed in at 826. 1 second head start to the 427 Corvette, and then Uncle Roy will be coming at you. Oh, easy, Roy. Easy, Roy. Man, that thing drove out, got up on the wheelie bar, and got a little crazy. Roy, however, is not giving up the chase. He's also not going to win the race. A 9:30 for the win for Jeff Jewell. Roy Hill goes 8:06 on his 8:26. 168 miles an hour, crossing first, but had no chance of winning the race. None. 0. Now it's Tim Stickles in the Aspen. The Rebel Kid Motorsports car. And Dennis Stewart for Stewart Performance Products in the Daytona. It's crazy. The air's so good out here. All the cars are making great power. And I don't think I've ever seen a case where the cars will jump up and then raise into a higher wheelie out there about 60 or 80 feet, and that's kind of where they're getting in trouble. Normally they jump out there and then kind of calm back down, but they're making so much power out there right now, and there's obviously plenty of bite in the track here. And it's almost like they do a mini wheel stand and then a bigger wheel stand. It's fun for me because I don't have to drive one. I think it would be fun to drive one, having said that. Red light start for Dennis Stewart. He goes 008 on the early side. We, by the way, have reached above sea level. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's 41 feet above sea level. Man. 12:05 for Tim Stickles for the win, 109 miles an hour. That one decided on the red light as Dennis Stewart left a little bit too soon. That'll bring up Tony Cafaro in the Firebird and Eddie Longany in the Duster. Longany had a Wade, North Carolina, and I do believe Longany won class limbs yesterday, the big combo category, because he's the only K automatic on the property. And Cafaro in the Firebird. Once again, solid activity in the wheel stand department. If you ever wanted to get a picture of your car doing a wheel stand, now's a good day. I think you could get a front wheel drive car to stand up the way the weather is out there right now. Longan, he's going to get the win here, 10:53 at 110 miles an hour. Tony Cafaro got there first by about a mile and a half and ran under by about 600. What? Sure you could. Come on, where's your sense of humor? Richard Bing in the left side, the GTP automatic, and Hugh Meeks. Hugh Meeks with a 427 powered factory super stocker. They are clean green down and away. We got 1,320 feet to figure this baby out. Down to the stripe at 9:21 for the win for Hugh. 116 miles an hour, 11:02 for Richard. And that ain't going to get it done. I'm not kidding, Lewis. It's 41 feet. Lewis Bloom following along on our online feed. Mark Alvey, Super J automatic. Brittany Bolts, GTN automatic. We are bumping him in. Brittany is going to see the tree first. And once again, if there's such a thing as world record wheel standers, everybody's setting a career best today. It's crazy. And it's fun, and it's exciting, and I'm having a good time. 10:10 for the W for Mark Alvey. Brittany was better on the tree by 100, but she was back of the dial about 700. 10:64 when she predicted 57, so Mark Alvey closes the deal at 120 miles an hour and brings up Shane Oakes, the rough and ready Formula Firebird, and Brian Martell, the B modified stalker for Shiles and Martell. The Virginia contractor against the Pennsylvania landscaper. Handicap head start, a bulb and a half ish. Whoa, Oakes drifts way over to the left while he's in the wheel stand. Martell's car stays straight and true. Now, can he get the nose out in front of the bird? And yes, he can. 9:050. Wow. Brian Martell goes 0:21 and then egged Shane Oakes. Oakes goes 0:08, but when his car made that big sachet, it slowed him down a little bit. He's one back of the dial and left the door open for Brian. 6th thou. 6th thou. Man, this is fun stuff. Bobby Dennis now in the yellow car. James Caro in the not yellow car. The GTP automatic Cadillac-powered Calais. Bob Dennis, who spent some time as the mayor of Shorter, Alabama, a number of years ago. We call the office and say, is the mayor in? They say, yeah, he's taking a nap. I say, when can I call back? It's like, how about a week from Tuesday? He didn't get a lot of work done when he was the mayor. He did get the win light here, however, with an 0:14 reaction time and a 2 above the dial. James Caro goes 9:81. But Caro was behind at this end and couldn't catch him at that end. Joel Warren, left side. Mark Young, right side. Super H automatic, GTK automatic. They almost look like twins, don't they? Well, that's a 96 and that's a 98. So they couldn't be twins because that one's 2 years older. That reminds me of a joke that I can't tell. I know a lot of those, believe me, a lot. There's a red light start for Mark Young and a win light for Joel Warren. Joel won that race before he ever moved. Hustling on down to the stripe, 966 at 136 miles an hour for Warren, 1060 for Mark Young, but 011 red for Mark Young. Now it's Gary Summers in the Cobra Jet. Kind of strange for Gary Summers to have a car this fast. Gary is notorious for having the wacky, indexically fast slow cars, if that makes any sense. You know, like the Super Stang. This is a 429 powered convertible Cobra Jet. It might be the only one in existence. Mike Crutchfield with the G5 out of Montgomery, Alabama. He is dialed in at 883, so Summers is going to get a little bit of a head start, but not a whole lot of head start. They ease their way into the staging beams. Now we're ready. That's the head start. Both drivers away on the right side of the tree. Pontiac trying to chase down the Mustang. Mustang trying to hold off the Pontiac. Brake lights, brake lights, brake lights. Oh, and a wind light for Crutchfield. Gary Summers had the brake lights on like half an hour before he got to the finish line, and I'm trying to figure out what he was thinking. He qualified at 887 and dialed 935. Huh? And then he was on the brakes way early and still ran 916. Crutchfield dialed in at 883, ran 878, which is not nearly as egregious. He did run 904 miles an hour, however, so that now is the new top speed of the meet. If you're watching that Budweiser scoreboard, you might have noticed we've got a mile-an-hour sensor that's a little bit wacky down there. The elapsed time sensor is working perfectly. It's the mile-an-hour sensor that's a little bit on the weird side. So we got our best guy on it. Brad Zaskowski is out there with a 4-speed. Here comes Scott Gove, 7-second super stocker, and comes up short. 987 for Brad. 130 miles an hour, a 006 reaction time with the clutch foot. Scott Gove did not have a 006 reaction time, and his car went that away at the hit. By the time he got it back under control, the best he could muster was a 794, and that was not going to be enough. That'll bring up Don Barber in the Avenger and Anthony Bertozzi in the Grand Am. Bertozzi, that is a bad dude in the right lane. Red light start for Don Barber. Don Barber lights the cherry. Anthony Bertozzi will take the win light, 897 for the W. Didn't need any of it. 929, 125 for Don Barber. Hey, want to say hi to a very special guest who's following along on Drag Racer TV. I understand that Maddox is glued to the screen. And Maddox, Daddy says hi. Eric Raymer in the Cobra Jet. Jim Schechter, the Clutch Cavalier. The Cavalier out of Georgia for the engineer, Jim Schechter, who's also been known to hold a microphone when he's not out there ramming gears back and forth. Whoa, hang on. Eric Raymer's car stood up, spun the tire, and it kicked the tail. Now Jim Schechter needs to look over his shoulder. Like that, 932. Off the throttle once he noticed that Eric Raymer was no longer on the chase. But Raymer's car got up and started spinning the tire and pointed it toward the concrete, and I think he decided coming back next week and racing was better than continuing on wide open toward the concrete. Like they once said in the Indiana Jones movie, he chose wisely. Don Bells and Carl Weisinger. By the way, I don't know how many of you were here yesterday, but yesterday we set the all-time record for viewership on dragracer.tv. We have already surpassed that today. We're killing it. Don Bells in the left side. That Barton-powered 427 Camaro. Carl Weisinger on the right side. From right up the road in Orlando. The big old Dodge going to leave first by a little more than 1 second. That's a little more than a second. That is a big old burnout for Don Bells. And Carl, oh, look at this. Carl breaks out. Oh, man. Carl Weisinger had a 560 reaction time. Don Bells did a second burnout and had zero chance of winning that race unless Carl gave it to him. Carl gave it to him. Oh, man, you need to send him a thank you card. He got there first by a train length and ran 998. Don Bells is a second back of the dial. and Carl Weisinger handed it to him. Oh, if you're back there in Carl's trailer, just hide anything sharp. Really. Really. John Sear is going to take a solo because his scheduled opponent, Jeff Bragg, is not here. 10:32, 126 miles an hour for John on the all-by-myself run. And now we go to a pair. This is a fun pair. Deluxe. 1964 Comet had a 289 in it. In 1964, that was about the biggest hot rod motor you could buy in a Comet. Now, Dave Barton has got a 429 Cobra Jet. Factory stock D. That thing makes close to 1,000 horsepower. Lux car makes close to 100 horsepower. Well, 200. It ain't anywhere near 1,000, let's put it that way. Deluxe with the M automatic will be off and running with the 289, and then Barton is going to be closing in like you wouldn't believe. And it's not going to matter a lick. Whoa, easy, you're going to need that car later. Lux goes red. Barton's car goes straight up, unloads, and comes slamming back down. 1080 for Dick Lux after the red light. Barton goes 1392 after the violent wheel stand and landing. I need to figure out a way to transport my Mustang here today, and then I need to figure out a way to talk somebody into letting me make a run. I've got a street car that I really, really, really want one time to run in the nines, and today would be a pretty darn good opportunity with all the bite that's out there and all the air that's out there. Mark Nowicki, the Avenger out of Michigan. James Hill, the GTO Mustang. I'm not going through the whole explanation. It's the same GTO as the Camaro from earlier. 1021 for the small block 4-speed 65 pony. 959 for Nowicki in the Avenger. No, 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 no. Nowicki goes 991 at 103 miles an hour, and you saw James Hill. For those of you that aren't aware, race cars and electronics both operate on the same theory. Containing the smoke. When the smoke escapes, whether we're talking about your race car or your electronics, that's bad. And James Hill's Mustang got out there and let the smoke escape. We do thank him for pulling over next to the wall so he wouldn't be in the middle of the groove if it was leaking something, and hopefully it was not. Racers, if you're in a situation like that, please just pull over and stop. If something were to have been leaking out of the bottom of the pony, well, it's a whole lot easier to clean up a puddle than it is to clean up a trail. But we're going to have to go out and take a look before we continue on with Jeff Lewis and his H-Automatic 68 Camaro and Alan Wade and his 427 car. This is a fun little round of super stock. I believe we've got our alcohol cars back there. Is that correct? So since we've got our alcohol cars back there, what say Super Gas? You can start rolling in here, please. We'll finish up super stock, and then we'll have the finals, an alcohol dragster and alcohol funny car. Hand out the trophies, and then we're going to continue on with Super Gas, top dragster, comp, top sportsman, round one, and then we'll have our junior cars to close out the night in a time trial run. But right now, Super Gas, we need you to head this direction, please. Super Gas to the staging lanes. Reset the all-time record on dragracer.tv. Ha, 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 ha. So let's see. How many of these shows have you done, Warren? Yeah, I mean, how many days overall? Give me an estimate. 300? And how many have I worked with you? About 12? And the 1, 2, and 3 all-time highest viewership shows have all been when I was there?
Yes, Alan, that is correct.
I feel all warm and fuzzy now. Were you here for the second and third best? What was the third best? See, you don't know. Doesn't matter. But nobody knows. But nobody knows you were here. Everybody knows I was here.
To be honest, Alan, I think the top 12 are all of you.
Really?
The races here and the races in Vegas.
The top 12 viewership all time in dragracer.tv or races that I was commentating on. I'm going to be needing more money tomorrow, and I mean tomorrow. I ain't waiting until Vegas. Tomorrow. I think I could be an evangelist. How many total so far?
Well, it dropped off a little there, but it's about 32,000.
Almost 32,000 total today. So if I could get everybody to send $10 to the Church of Allen, then you wouldn't need to give me a raise. How's that?
Well, I wouldn't plan on giving you a raise either.
Yeah.
31,404 is the actual number right now. And 1,800 people are currently watching that does not count.
I think that's awesome. For everybody that is paying attention and watching online, whether you're on dragracer.tv or nhra.tv, thank you. I know there's a lot of racing going on this weekend, and there's at least 2 or 3 different live streams going on this weekend. We appreciate you, and I'm being very serious here. We appreciate you choosing the Baby Gators. It's been a fun race so far. Look at the 2 alcohol funny car finalists down there walking off the racetrack going, yeah, I'm going to kick your tail. No, I'm going to kick your tail. No, I'm going to kick your tail. Actually, I'm looking at 2 guys down there that are going to race for the alcohol funny car trophy that both grew up in California, probably played in the same sandbox while their dads were racing against each other in alcohol funny car, and now they're down there going, can you believe we're racing heads up in Florida? This is awesome. All right, all is well on the racetrack. Jeff Lewis and Alan Wade. It's not called the Church of Allen, actually. I have my own church, but it's not the Church of Allen, and I'm not, believe me, not going to talk about that. Hang on, guys. Both of the Camaros picked the front end up. Jeff Lewis's car went that way, and then Alan Wade's car went that way. Now they're both going that way. Only one of them's going to come back tomorrow, and it's going to be Jeff Lewis. 978 at 132 miles an hour. Alan Wade goes 901 on a 901. That wasn't the problem. He goes 097 on the reaction time, and that was the problem. Hey, Wendy's watching. That's wonderful. What do you mean you had to tell me? Why do you think you had to tell me who you are? I know who you are. You're in my phone. I know who almost everybody in my phone is. Except those people that keep sending me text messages telling me that my social security number has been suspended, or I have $15.2 million waiting in escrow someplace. I just have to send the release fee. Or they can save me money on my mortgage. Imagine what a shock that was when I found out I had a mortgage. Brian Oakes goes red. The 427 goes 069. And then goes 893 at 147 miles an hour. 994, 121 for Merrill Shrimsker. That one got 1 on this end. By the way, Wendy, did your mom tell you that I saved her this morning when I found her phone? Well, I didn't really find her phone. Somebody found it, gave it to me, but I reunited her. That counts. If I can take credit for everything else, I can take credit for that too. Troy Huntsbury. The 87 model Camaro in the left lane, and Chuck Nagy. A modified stock Beretta, dialed in 897. We're in. We're ready. Here's the handicap. There's the red light. I should have been keeping track of how many cars hit the wheelie bar and unloaded, because we have absolutely set the national record for that here today. Chuck Nagy goes 9 flat at 151 miles an hour, and he had that race won before he ever moved. Troy Huntsbury left 11 thousandths of a second before the race was supposed to start. That's about the time that red light came on. Super gas. Come on down. We need your lanes, please. Second call, super gas to the lanes. Here comes Kenny Schindler in that spectacular Corvette. Out of Arts Used Parts, where if we ain't got it, you don't need it. And James Carter driving the Aspen. There goes James. Here comes the Corvette. Kenny Schindler on the chase. The 318 trying to stay out in front. Chasing it down to the finish line stripe, and look at the wind light on top of the Lucas oil board. 029, 928, Kenny Schindler. That was a winning combination of numbers. Carter dialed 1111, but could only muster a 1128. Oh, Rhonda, you have a customer in the winner's circle. She started to look. I thought she heard me. Victor Cagnazzi on the left side. Michael Volkman on the right side. Red light for Volkman. And Cagnazzi gets a free ride. And Volkman does a twist and shout wheelie. Down to the stripe, 9:33 for Victor, 125. 10:35 at 128 for Mike Volkman. Ah, okay, Rhonda's found her customer. Now it's Wendell House. The Barracuda. And Mark Powick. Mark is driving his factory showdown car in Superstock here this week. Basically, just testing for next weekend. He is dialed in at a 785. If he can run that, he's going to be a really happy guy. Let me tell you, if he breaks out, he won't be too disappointed. They are searching for performance in the drag pack, and it knocks the tire off of it. So Wendell House, 979, 125. Did you see him turn right when he looked over his shoulder? I'm telling you, he was going right down the center of the groove. When he turned around to see where Mark was, he looked right and drove right. Blipped the throttle, stayed on the right side of the number, and gets the win. Powick goes 1922 after smoking the tires. And now they'll start concentrating on next week in the samtech.edu factory stock showdown. Ronnie Dutton in the Olds Achieva now in the left lane. And Randall Weisinger. Randall is a trailer tech. Alrighty then. That's a sweet car, isn't it? The Savoy. It's got a late model. 360 in it. Dial in for Weisinger is 10.1. Dial in for Dutton, 10.34. I can do that math. Half a bulb is a head start. Ooh, Ronnie wanted more. The color is red. The number is 12. The race is over. Weisinger runs right on the money. Honey, 10-10 at 127 miles an hour. 1067 at 124 for Ronnie Dutton, but the red light ended his day right at the start of the race. And now it's Jerry Holman, Super J automatic on the left side, and your reigning Division II champion, Marion Stevenson. The championship defense, I believe, started last week. I think he was in Orlando. Or 2 weeks ago. That was a month ago? All right. So it was last week. Whatever. Both drivers down and away. Red car out in front. Blue car. Catching, 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 not catching. 10:33 for the win. 130 miles an hour. Marion goes 9:58 at 126. And Marion was a little bit behind on reaction time and also a tenth and a half back of the dial. And it is now time for Jimmy Daniels. Driving the Barsky, Bolts, and Daniels car. In the left side, Don Schufert in the right side. Out of Conley Springs, North Carolina. That is a GT L Automatic 327, and that is a GT L Automatic 327. How about a heads-up L Automatic? Who has the better race car? We ran class yesterday. You guys didn't have to do this twice. You didn't have to. On a day like this, a heads-up race is one of those where it just makes you like pucker a little bit, because I guarantee you anybody that's got any kind of horsepower could run 120 under on a day like this, and you do not want to set off the trigger. I'm guessing these two guys are sharp enough that they've come to the gentleman's agreement that we're going to race to 1,000 feet, because we do not want to kill an index on either one of them. 10:04 for the win, 130 miles an hour for Don. 10:08, 129 for Daniels. Don Schufert qualified at 10:27, left second by 3 hun, and stuck the nose out in front by 15 thou. And they ran him down to the stripe. 10:04 beats a 10:08. by 15 thou. Now it's Dave Shiles, GTE Automatic Cobalt, and it's Lisa Stevenson, the corn dog queen, trying to do what the king could not do. Lisa's car makes a move towards the right out of the groove, but she just expertly slides it back in the middle. Look at Nikki down there. I've never seen her this excited when her dad's racing. How about the wind light? Way to go, Mom. 10:04 at 131 miles an hour. David goes 9:40 at 117. And for Lisa, credit where credit's due. 0:12 on the reaction time. Did the job at this end. Lit the wind light at that end. Now it's Rich South on the left side and Emily Volkman in the right. Emily, of course, she and her husband, Service Department Solutions. If you run an auto shop, especially a dealership, you should talk to the Volkmans. Doesn't cost anything to talk. But they might just be able to help you out a little bit or a lot. Not a big handicap here, just under 0.2 of a second. Rich South. And away they go. Rich off first. Emily on the chase. Down to the stripe. Emily makes it happen. She runs 9:75 at 133. Rich South. Rich South breaks out by 0.02 of a second, getting there first by 6 hun. Need that much more brake pedal to win the race, but Emily will take it. And now it's Ron Hunsberry, GT H Automatic, the Link Belt Cobalt, and Richard K, the B Modified Valiant. B like in big old Mopar. Dialed in at 862. Easing in, set and ready. .867, 146 miles an hour. That's going to be a winner for Richard K. Hunsberry goes 962 at 131 miles an hour. They both missed the tree, but it ended up being a competitive race down to the other end with the modified car getting the better of it. And now it's Kevin Craddock in the 69 vinyl top Camaro. I really like that thing. I mean, really. Kevin Reiner in the 98 model Camaro. So you're seeing about 30 years of evolution before the Gen 4 cars morphed into the Gen 5 cars that were patterned after the Gen 1 cars. And we're going to watch Craddock in the green machine move first. At least he better move first. If he doesn't move first, he is in a pile of trouble. A pile. Okay, he moved first, so we got that going for us. Now let's see what we do down there. It's Kevin and Kevin. Kevin is catching Kevin. Kevin is not going to catch Kevin. Kevin's trying to hold off Kevin, and Kevin wins. Unfortunately, Kevin loses. Kevin Craddock gets the W. He goes 10:38 at 119 miles an hour. Kevin Reiner goes 10:09 at 132. Reiner was late at this end, and Craddock left him no room. Reiner got there first, but he had to break out to do it. There was no room to sneak in. Kent Hanley in the left lane. Jeff Longany in the right lane. Is this our last pair? This would appear to be our last pair. And just like that, Longany is way on out there. Here comes Kent Hanley closing the gap. Got him. Did it on the starting line. 9:46 on a 48. Hanley's under by 2. 30 on a 36 for Jeff Longany is under by 6 because Longany was 5 back on the reaction timer. Kent Hanley with a 009 reaction time put him in the driver's seat, so to speak. And he drove it right into round 2. Okay, we're doing a little touch-up down here on the starting line. We're going to do a little check down there on the racetrack. We have got our alcohol finals coming up next, and after that, we've got lanes full of super gas cars. After the alcohol finals, we've still got some eliminations going to take place into the evening as we trim all the fields in half. that we haven't already, but it should be a fun one. The alcohol funny car final, literally a couple of California kids that grew up playing at the racetrack while their dads were racing each other. And in the dragster final, it's going to be Josh and Jackie. Where have I seen that before? Oh, yeah. They've done that a time or two. We're going to let the racetrack team, the Division II folks, do a little touch-up on the racetrack, and we'll bring out our alcohol finals in just a little bit. If you're watching online or listening online, don't go away now. If you got a friend that's an alcohol fan, shoot him a quick text. Tell him to get signed in. We're about to hand out the trophy, an alcohol dragster and alcohol funny car. That'll be next. 14 feet above sea level. Now, I wasn't watching it on a minute-by-minute basis, but it never got 100 feet today. Never. Started 986 feet below. Making horsepower, not a problem. Managing horsepower a couple of times has proven to be a daunting task. Josh Hart on the left side, Jackie Frick on the right. They were the number 1 and 2 qualifiers when it was all said and done yesterday. Josh ran a 5:18 in the first round, a 5:23 in the second. Jackie ran a 5:25 and then a 5:26. So both cars have been very consistently going down the racetrack. You better not stub your toe here. Jackie was in the final round last week down at No Problem Raceway and came up short. Right now she's thinking about taking a revenge out on Josh Hart, even though it wasn't Josh that closed her out last week. And I would be willing to wager somewhere Bob Vandergriff is paying attention to this race, because the guy in the left lane is going to be driving one of his top fuel cars next weekend. For the trophy, an alcohol dragster, he said, she said. Jackie drives into smoke and Josh drives into the winner's circle. 5:29, 274 miles an hour. Jackie moved first. Her car kind of rattled a little bit, and it got out there about 100 feet, and I mean just absolutely annihilated the tires. Josh, 5:29 at 274 miles an hour, and he picks up regional event win number 11 in his career, and takes the lead in his final round matchups with Jackie Frick at 2-1. So the 1 and 2 qualifiers worked their way through the field and ended up in the final, where number 1 took care of business, Josh Hart, for the win at 5:29 and 274 miles an hour. And now it's the alcohol funny car final round. And it's the number 3 and 5 qualifiers. But to be fair, Sean Bellemere, the number 3 qualifier, sat out the last session last night when it was very good conditions. And he got bumped down. He went into the session number 1. Pay attention to where they line up Doug Gordon, because he just saw his dad move over a ways to do the burnout. And I don't know if that means that they're going to move the car over that far in the lane, or if they wanted to do the burnout in one place and line the car up in another. Doug Gordon, the red Beta Motorcycle Chevrolet with the Allen Johnson engine combination. And Sean Bellemere, the reigning champ for Hussey and Redline. Give you a history of the day. Doug Gordon in the opening round ran 5:48. In the semifinals ran 5:47. Sean Bellemere ran 5:66 and 5:54. Bellemere today has not been to the stripe without pedaling. He better not have to pedal this time, or Doug Gordon will make him pay. They have done this a couple of times in final rounds, but both times were on the West Coast, and I do believe both times Bellemere was driving the family car. That is Steve Boggs encouraging his driver in the right lane. That is Mike Gordon encouraging his son in the left lane. Gordon, Bellemere, alcohol funny car final. Don't be pedaling. That was a pedal. That's a win light, 5:52, and Gordon gets it done, 268 miles an hour. Sean Bellemere goes 5:65 at 267. If you were watching the guys on the starting line, when that thing rattled and he had to pedal it, they all went, no! But Doug Gordon making it happen here. Congratulations to the gang down there in red shirts. And I guarantee you haven't seen the last of either one of those teams. Sean Bellemere is going to be a player all year long, and I do believe Doug Gordon, with that brand new Johnny Lindbergh built car is going to be even more of a force to be reckoned with than he has been the last few years. For the record, Sean Bellemere moved first, but Gordon, by 60 feet, had made most of that up. By 330 feet, was out in front and did not look back after that. 552, 268 miles an hour. And Doug Gordon, this is almost unbelievable. Because I know Doug's been doing this for a while, and I know Doug's had success for a while. But that's regional win number 26 for Doug Gordon. Pretty impressive stuff. Congratulations to the Gordons. They are a long way from home. I wouldn't say that they're going to enjoy the trip back with the trophy, but they're going to hang around for a few days and try to get another trophy before they head back. And do not be surprised if they have to race Sean Bellemere again. That's two pretty good teams and two pretty good race cars. TJ Cox up here right now wanting to take a test run, and that is being allowed. So let's see what the DXI construction car can do. It is a relatively regular event for test runs to be allowed at regional races. Not always, but relatively regular. Kind of depends on how the schedule's going, what the weather looks like, and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it is never allowed at a national event, but these cars are going to be here battling for it next weekend. And Daryl and DJ said, give us one more crack at it if you would, please. Took it about 250 feet and clicked it off, and you could tell by the body language on the starting line that that wasn't what they were hoping to do. Sometimes they will come up on a test run and go, okay, look, we're just going to run it a couple 300 feet and get it off the starting line. It didn't look bad from this angle. Fairly aggressive down low, but didn't really look like it went into violent shake or had any kind of an issue. DJ's in the car, and I'm not, so I'll let him make the decision. And he obviously decided to take his foot off the gas. So congratulations to Josh. Congratulations to Doug as they close out the alcohol part of the program. And we have got Super Gas at the ready line. They're going to be rolling out here for elimination round number 1. We've still got quite a bit of racing to go tonight. We're going to close it out with some junior time trials in just a little bit. But right now we're doing a quick broom around the tree, and then we're going to roll out our 990 cars. Unc is watching? Cool. Unc, we're glad to have you as one of our 32,000 and whatever that have 33,000 and change that have tuned in today. Super Gas is rolling out. This is round number 1. It counts this time. And Warren Evans is going to talk you through some 990 racing.
Why, thank you, Alan. 990 cars getting set to pull up. You're going to see a whole lot of Corvette Roadsters. A whole lot of Roadsters in general. Along with some door cars. Quite a variety of left-hand steer machines getting set to take on the Gainesville Raceway quarter mile here. Super Gas slides up to the starting line right now. Steve Garman and Sherman Hancock Jr. Garman lets go of the button. The car twists sideways. Yanks it out of the beams too quick. Turns it red. Sherman Adcock Jr. goes on round 2 in his Fire Aid Roadster over there. Got to think of what I'm talking about. 994 at 154 for Sherman Adcock Jr. Wins via the red light. Steve Garman, 993 and out. 162 for the speed. Rich Price, number 9 in the world last year. For prices, movingandstorage.com, the relocation specialist out of Lawrenceburg, Pennsylvania. Alongside Matthew Mellerson's S10 pickup truck. The truck way down there. Here comes that hard-charging Corvette. Finish line will decide it, and it's going to be Rich Price taking the win. 994 at 167. So for Matthew Mellerston, he was behind at the starting line. Drove it straight down to the finish line. No throttle stop, no nothing. Breaks out by half a second. 948 at 141. Way too quick for Matthew Mellerston. Ricky Hall, John Winters coming up next. The JW Transmissions 2013 Camaro. Pro Mod style machine on the right. Ricky Hall. Old fashioned 68 Camaro. Steel body panels all over it. For the runner out of Yorktown, Virginia. Old school, new school. Finish line says it's old school for the win. Ricky Hall, your winner, 992 at 148. 2 over winner right there. John Winters, 991.6. He was better on the index, but slower at the starting line. 18 thousandths margin of victory for Ricky Hall. Jason Kinney, he'll line up now left side. His 2003 body style Corvette with Stennett power. Kinney left side for Jegs.com and Hoosier Tires and a whole bunch of others. Alongside John Taylor. Taylor off and running in his Dakota pickup. Taylor looking at Kinney. Kinney looking at Taylor. Both of them looking up. Wind light flashes for Jason Kinney. 991 at 163. So Jason moves on. He was behind at the start by 9 thou, but closer on the index by 4 hun. Kinney picks up the stripe and the win. Jerry Norton. Jerry Norton and James Justice. So everything's sorted out here on the starting line. Starter leans in to talk to James Justice to figure out what we're going to do here. Jerry Norton, a little roadster. Little Nova over there on the right hand side. Got a for sale by owner in the back window. Want to go racing. 990 car here on the right. All right, we are resorted. We'll do it again. 3 lights for both. James Justice, Jerry Norton. Little roadster left, Nova on the right. Little whomping down there. You can hear it from up here. And Jerry Norton for the win, 10 flat at 138. James Justice, 3 over 993. But a 10th behind at the starting line and paid the price at the finish. Win light for Jerry Norton. Frank Altilio waits behind the pre-stage beam here on the left side alongside Sergio Santavina. Sergio took his helmet off, that's right. Now I'm thinking he's strapping it back on. Did he get the car refired or nope? Nope, helmet is coming off. That means a single pass here for Frank Altilio. Tough break for Sergio. AMX not going to be able to make the call. Altilio drive it out to the finish line. $9.94 at 170 for Frank Altilio. Tough break for that gorgeous AMX over here on the right. Get him cleared out of the way here. Get set to pull our next pair into the water box. That'll be James Cowie, waiting patiently right now. 2004 Corvette left side. And Ron Lauer coming up next with the Oldsmobile Cutlass on the right. Cowie making the tow down from New Brunswick, Canada. For Ron Lauer, Dundee, Ohio, the home. Attention in the pit area, we need Hickory enclosed trailer, top dragster to the staging lanes, please. Top dragster to the lanes. Cowie and Lauer off and running. Open air car left, full body car right. At the stripe, wind light flashes for James Cowie. How about this? He goes 0-10 on the tree, dead on 1 at the finish. 11 thousandths package for James Cowie. Lauer was 0-27 on the tree and already done before he rolled it out of the beams. 988 with an 8. Breaking out didn't matter. He was already beat before he left. Dwayne DeAgostino, Jerry Heffelfinger. Pair of roadsters left and right. The 27 Ford Roadster left, 38 Chevy right. Pair of Floridians. Once again, Hickory enclosed trailer, top dragster, to the lanes. Red light start for Dwayne DeAgostino. Heffelfinger turns at 009 green and turns on the wind light down there. 995 at 160 for Heffelfinger. Red light start for DeAgostino, and then a 990 at 129 to end his day. Stan Wadowski from Union, Maine. Nova left. Arnold Reed, the DWC Auto Parts Group 63 Corvette Roadster on the right. From Loganville, Georgia. Is that the one I'm supposed to go, woo, Loganville, is that right? I don't know why I'm doing that. What I'm supposed to do. Arnold Reed, grip, zip at the start. Already got the automatic win, 984 at 152, just a time pass. Perfect at the starting line. Wadowski, 5,000 too quick, turns it red. And he is out of here with a 10:15 at 164. Dale Harrison, 68 Camaro Roadster over here on the left, alongside the 62 Chevy 2. Good looking ride over here on the right. Brown yanks out of the beams, 5,000 too quick. Red light start right side. Harrison, wind light left side. 820. Really? Well, he was way down there. I'll give him that. 820 at 168. Huh. This is super gas, right? So, I definitely low ET for the group. 820 at 168. Okay. Gene Brown, 989 at 162, but Dale Harrison, what's going on there? Ron Orban and Ricky Purcell coming up now. And back wagon over here on the left. Purcell. Beretta on the right. Purcell out front. Here comes that 427 Chevy power plant in the Vega, getting the job done. Purcell got down there, took 7, broke out by 4. Purcell breaks out, gives the win to Ron Orban. 995 at 148 for the winner. Tommy Turner comes up now from Naples, Florida. The Turner Construction 63 Corvette Roadster alongside Rick Swank. Swank's 27 Ford Roadster on the right. Swank out of Moshheim, Tennessee. So little Ford out front. Corvette charging hard. Side by side, finish line, it's going to be Tommy Turner for the win, 991 at 169. He was behind at the starting line by 14 thou, but that's all right. Got down there closer to the index. Rick Swank, 1004 at 134. Not close enough. Turner moves on. Dave Schmidt from Flintstone, Georgia. 2004 Corvette left side. Larry Rodell on the right. Rodell, the bald man transmission. Rolla Competition Engines machine over here on the right out of Cookville, Indiana. Schmidt is done, 008 red. Rodell, 010 on the green side. He goes on to round number 2. Rodell at the finish line. How about a 9,900? 10 pack, all of it up front as he's dead 00 at the finish line. 990 with an O at 153 for Larry Rodell. Dave Schmidt, 994 at 160. And the 008 red light. Rodell, best pass of the group so far. 010, dead 0. Ray Miller III. Ray, or Ray. There's 3 of them. I think it's Ray. Out of Spring City, Tennessee, for Miller Race Cars. He of the fixed tail lights. Alan Reinhardt gave him a little, it did bug me. I would admit, it did bug me. John LaBouse alongside. Yeah, no kidding. Look around. Who do I want to race? Not that guy. Well, okay. We're going to race each other now. Yeah. Admittedly, 2 of the heaviest hitters in the class, side by side. Look at that. 992.2 on both sides of the scoreboard. How about that for reaction time? 025 to 026. How about that for a drag race? 1/1000th of a second separated them at the finish line, all on the reaction time. Miller's 025, LaBouse 026. Both of them 22 over, 992.2. Miller wins. Henry Borger, Jim Parrish. Perry right side, the little S10. Gets to leave early as the win light goes to Henry Borger. 993 at 149 for Henry Borger. Perry, James Bond Green, 6 off, no good. Borger, 3 over 993, 149 for the win. Craig Porter's Mustang comes up now left side alongside the Camaro for Bruce Johnson. Johnson for Jeremy's Engines and Porting. Loris, South Carolina right side. Silver Spring, Maryland left. Again, 990 the number. Hickory Enclosed Trailers, top dragster. We need you to the lanes, please. Hickory Enclosed Trailers, top dragster. We need you to the staging lanes, please. Let go. Little move out there for the Camaro. Side by side. Johnson gets down there, takes the stripe, breaks out by 1/1000th of a second. 989.9 breakout. He was 037 to the 038 for Craig Porter up front. Porter gets the win, 990 with a 9 at 165. Great time ticket. Bruce Johnson almost a better time ticket, but breaks out on the loss. Dwight Noost comes up now, the Pig Farmer's Delight. 1982 Dodge Rampage. Big block Chevy power. He is green. Jeffrey Jensen green as well. Scruples Racing Corvette for Double J. At the finish line, it's going to be a 991, getting it done for Dwight Noost. Noost, your winner, 013 on the tree, 991 at the finish line at 152. Jensen a little bit later and a little bit further off, 992 and done. Speed of 162. Larry Burnshausen comes up next alongside Rusty Cook. Neither one of these two a slouch here in Super Gas either. Multi-time winners for both. Burnshausen, Manitou, Illinois. His little handback wagon off and running. Here comes Rusty Cook in that high horsepower Corvette. 990 with a 2. Dead 2 for Larry Burnshausen, 018 on the tree. He is your winner. Rusty Cook, 008 on the tree, and then breaks out by 4 thou down there. 989.6 at 165 off the throttle. Greg Slack comes up now. Little mop and glow out there in front of the Maverick for the converter design specialist. Runner out of Albemarle, North Carolina. Get everything cleaned up before we let Mr. Slack pull into the beams. His Ford pairs up alongside the 69 Chevy Camaro open air machine for David Morris. Morris Racing. Don Davis built 69 Camaro. 440 cubic inches of Ford power left side. 632 cubic inches of Chevy power right. Hickory enclosed trailer, top dragster, to the lanes, please. We need you. Wheels up for Greg Slack. Sets it down, heads for the other end. Here comes Morris, trying to catch him. Not going to do it. How about a dead on 8 for Greg Slack? 15 thousandths package, put them together. 007 up front, dead 8 at the finish. 990 with an 8 at 145. David Morris, 992 at 174. Decent pass, not good enough. Dave Dollum, top 10 runner in Division III last year out of Tremont, Illinois. His 57 Corvette lurches off the starting line. Tybe Larson. Alongside the 68 Camaro, wind light flashes for Dave Dollum. He's 005 on the tree, 996 at the finish line. Took him across by 400ths down there to take the win. Tybe Larson gave up too much at the starting line, 994. Closer to the index, not going to get the job done. David Griffith. He waits patiently there in his yellow 65 Corvette. A little bit of lacquer thinner out there. Do just a quick little cleanup there on the Lucas Oil side of the track. In the meantime, John Sickish waits patiently. He'll be pulling up right side, 63 Corvette Roadster. Hope everybody's watching what's going on, because one's going forward and one's coming back. A little traffic direction. Looks like Griffith would like to do another burnout. And I believe that's Tyler Bohannon behind him. So Tyler will back up. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Whoa, 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 everybody needs to see what's going on. Good thinking out there. Griffith, left side, Sickish, right. Hardtop Corvette left, no top Corvette right. Top dragster to the lanes, please. Top dragster to the lane. Ticket heads for the finish line, trying to catch him, doesn't. 991 at 156. Sickish was behind at the starting line by 200. Makes up the difference at the stripe. Wins by 200, 991 at 156. Griffith, better light, 995 at 156. And he is out of here. Jonathan Anderson, Williamson, Georgia. That's who that is. Little Corvette on the left. Steve Furr on the right. Furr, the rally striped 68 Camaro from Harrisburg, North Carolina. Let go of the buttons, head for the far end of the track. And for Steve Furr, he was 018 on the tree to Anderson's 008. But at the finish line, he's over, Anderson under. Anderson breaks out by 2, 988. That's 2 quick. Steve Furr, your winner, 991 at 159 miles per hour. Top Dragster to the lanes. If you're not headed that way, we need you now. Top Dragster getting you paired up for round number 1. Michael Handress and Darius Poitier. Handress from Brooklyn, New York for C2 Converters, Short Line Express Market. .003 on the wrong side of the tree, turns it red for Michael Handress. Darius Poitier gets the gift win, and there's no other way to put it, as he is 234 on the tree. Really? And he breaks out by 4, but guess what? His time ticket has a W at the top for Michael Handress. Red light start, 10 flat, 149, and he is done. Leo Zinda comes up now, the Ring and Pinion Shop proprietor out of Clinton Township, Michigan. He gets Johnny Cobb here in round number 1. Cobb's 27T Roadster over on the right. Cobb out of North Carolina. Doesn't let go of it on the green side. One of them a little more greener than the other. And Johnny Cobb trying to make up the starting line disadvantage there. Breaks out, trying to get there, and still doesn't. 988, 2-2 quick. Behind all the way down the track, Leo Zinda. Better at the starting line by 0.08 of a second. 994 at 156 for the win. It's Al Walker, the classic Pontiac Trans Am, for the runner out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. It's Bill Trum here around number 1. Trum from Branchville, New Jersey. For a Middle East Atlantic 96 group. He gets a win. Big wheel stand there. Hard drifts left, gathers it up. Keeps his win light on. Trum, your winner, 980 at 145. Al Walker, 002 on the wrong side of the tree. Turns it red by 2 thou. 998 at 155 to finish up his day. Chuck Westcott comes up now. Phil Rauch alongside. Westcott left side, the Beretta. Rauch right side, the Monza. Top Dragster to the lanes. Top Dragster to the lanes. Westcott, Rauch. Rauch finally moves in. Westcott eases in. And off they go. The Monza. Hard on and off the stop. Thing launched hard, dropped, launched hard again. Must work for him. He's your winner. 990. 147 for Phil Rauch. Chuck Westcott took him across down there. 985 breaking out at 159. He was behind at the starting line. Got down there first and broke out by 5. It's Tim Parker. Parker left. Robert Houston right. Parker out of Longmont, Colorado, the Division 5 runner for Parker Sheet Metal. That is a Camaro SS Roadster. Robert Houston, the RVH Transport 63 Corvette Roadster. Houston out of North Carolina. Clean and green for both drivers. Working each other down there at the finish line. A little throttle work down there. How about a 995 at 152 for your winner, Tim Parker? Parker was 009 on the tree. Left second. Robert Houston 008 on the tree. So a coin flip there. But Houston can't cover him down there. He's 8 off. 998 at 154. And Parker is your winner. This is Jim Morrison, the little Opel GT out of Merritt Island, Florida. Ken Griffith. Leads the starting line alongside Morrison. Separated by 4 thousandths at the start. Win light by 9 thousandths goes to Jim Morrison. 991 at 152. He is your winner. Ken Griffiths, 992 and done. 154 for the speed. Bob Schieffer. His 57 Corvette rolls into the beams now out of Saranac Lake, New York. Jamie Kelly alongside from Ocala, Florida. Kelly's Dodge Daytona Mopar combination. Works off the starting line. Jay Tony heads for the stripe. Here comes the Corvette. Who's it going to be? It is the Corvette for Bob Schieffer. Got there second, but he did not break out. Jamie Kelly did. Schieffer 993 at 156 for the win. Jamie Kelly got down there, took a chunk down there, and broke out by 2 as he was 988 on the 990 index. That's too quick. 128 for the speed. Lauren Freer, the Corvette left side, taking on Charlie Canopic, the Corvette right side, a pair of 63 Corvette Roadsters. Freer from Mooresville, North Carolina. That's the Lucas Oil side of the track. Canopic in the Budweiser lane. Canopic, number 3 in the world last year. And at the finish line, it's going to be Canopic for the win. How about a 993 at 159 for Charlie Canopic? He was 006 up front. Freer a little bit tardy on the starting line, 988, trying to make up the difference. Breaks out, crosses first, but breaks out by 0.02 of a second, 988 at 166. Jim Weber, Corvette left side from Palm City, Florida. For L&W Roof Systems, part of that Wildfire Racing team. PAR engine, Miller-built Roadster, alongside Gene Quinn, Gainesville, Florida. Off the starting line, immediately turns right, corrects it, heads for the other end. Green car, red car, how about the green car for the win? Gene Quinn, 1008, 158, he is your winner. Jim Weber, 1004 at 161. Either one of them really close on that index, neither one of them really close on the tree. But the better bad package went to Gene Quinn. Tony Thompson, Matt Tankersley come up now. Thompson, Tanker, tank, double tank. The rocket scientist over on the right. He's not going to get it done. They're both 997. Thompson, better reaction time, 27 to a 29. Thompson 997.1 to a 997.7. Add up the 1 and the 7, that makes 8 thousandths margin of victory for Tony Thompson. Here's Howard Day and Bobby Tronell. Howard Day, an engineer, builds a lot of really cool stuff. Bobby Tronell breaks out. Howard Day, dead late. No other way to put that. When your reaction time starts with an 8 and you get the win, it's just your day. So Bobby Tronell was 017 on the tree, gets down there by almost a full second ahead, breaks out by 2 thousandths of a second, 988 at 155. Howard Day, buy that guy a nice cold one and thank him for the gift. Man Arnold and Jeff Chandler. Corvette Roadsters left and right. Man Arnold, Jeff Chandler. Off we go. We're out front right now. Here comes Van Arnold alongside. Win light for Jeff Chandler. Chandler second off the starting line, but runs the number 990 with a 5 at 156. He's your winner. Van Arnold, much better on the tree. 002 up front, but 6 off at the finish line. Chandler gets the win. Hickory Enclosed Trailer, top dragster. If you're not there, you're late. We need you now. We're getting you paired up. We're ready to go for round number 1. Here's Chris Lewis and Michelle Furr. Lewis, the full-bodied 68 Camaro. Michelle Furr, the open air 2017 C7 Roadster. C6 Roadster, excuse me. Double breakout job completed for Michelle Furr. She's your winner. Lewis, 004 on the tree to the 026 for Michelle Furr. Chris Lewis breaks out by 5. Furr breaks out by 6. Top dragsters, if you are paired, please pull them up. Pika. Left before the tree was activated. No time for him. Fouls it away. Charlie Stewart gets the win. Charlie's new car goes on to Sunday. 988 at 169. Pika leaves before the tree is activated, and he is done here in round number 1. Jay Sapelka and Nicole Stevenson. Looks like they will be our final pair here in Super Gas Eliminator. Sapelka, the 84 Dodge Omni, over here left side. Right side, Nikki, the Corn Dog Gypsy, in her 69 Camaro Roadster. So Hickory Enclosed Top Dragster getting set for their round number 1. They roll towards the ready line right now. Top Dragsters, if you're not there, we're getting ready to run you. You are late. Nikki moves in. How about the little dog? Green is gone for both of them. Sapelka, left side. Stevenson, right. Wind light says it is Nikki on the double breakout. She breaks out by 4. He breaks out by 5. Another double breakout win. It's Nicole Stevenson. Moving on to round number 2. And so Super Gas is in the books. Hickory Enclosed Top Dragster coming up. The high horsepower, 220 mile an hour plus. 6-second shooters here. It's just an ultra quick bracket race coming at you right now. 32 of the quickest and fastest cars in the country will match up here in round number 1 of eliminations. 2 pretty good ones right here, as Holden Larice and Phil Dion will be your first pair rolling towards the water box right now. So just a little bit of the sticky stuff on maybe some spots out there right behind the starting line before we bring our top dragsters up. And before I bring to the microphone, the guy will tell you all about it. Alan Reinhardt.
Thanks, Warren. I'm looking back at the staging lanes and trying to figure out, is the Wi-Fi better back there or what? I just can't figure out why nobody wants to pull forward. They've been back there for like an hour. We got 2 pairs of top dragster and nobody else wants to race. If you guys want to race, pull forward. If you don't want to race, get out of the way. We'll call comp. That's pretty simple. That's the first pair of top dragster burning out and getting ready to race. Bill Dion on the left side all the way in from Arizona. Holden Larice on the right side out of Louisiana. Larice, your number 1 qualifier, but he's dialed back a couple of ticks at 6:13. Bill Dion dialed in at 6:20. The spread between number 1 and number 16 as far as the front page goes, less than 1/10 of a second. So we're not going to see a whole lot of big handicaps, certainly not in the cars that qualified in the middle of the field. Phil Dion in the left side, he's going to go first with that blown Brad Anderson machine, and the Danny Nelson built Pro-Charged insurance broker in the right side will be on the chase. Not a big chase, but a little chase. This one's over via the red light. 017 red is Dion. 608 at 229 miles an hour is Holden. He saw the red bulb and decided to go ahead and drive it on out, do a dial-in check. 624 at 216 miles an hour for Dion. But he left 17 thou too soon. Now it's Clint Riley. out of Greenville, Florida. He's going to be over here on the left side, and Ross Larice. Ross now qualified at 6:17, but dialed 6:12. Of course, he's got the exact same combination that his kid has, and we just saw what his kid did. Clint Riley is going to get a little bit more of a head start than Phil Dion did. Got one that just hasn't quite gotten around the top of the racetrack yet. Now we see green, so send them. We got the all clear from the end of the racetrack, and the two cars still don't want to stage. Ross, top 3 player in the championship last year. And a big thanks to folks at Vortex Superchargers who have stepped up and taken over the sponsorship. Quick reminder, our computer goddess is looking at the left side of your car. If your dial-in board is pointed to the right, that doesn't help. This one ends just like the last one ends, with a red light start. Clint Riley with 2 foul on the wrong side. So Larice, father and son, both advance. Via the red light. Larice's dad goes 6:14 at 203 miles an hour. And now it's Dennis Ketterman in the left side, and Rebecca Miller. Rebecca, one of the alternates that got in. It was kind of brutal in qualifying, and we had a couple of machines get wounded to the point that they were unable to go through rehab and make it back for round 1. This time it's going to be the right lane that takes off first, but still not a big head start. Rebecca feels like she got a new lease on life here with getting in as an alternate after not qualifying. Let's see if she can earn her way into Sunday. If you win here, you get to come back and race tomorrow. This time they're both away on the green. Rebecca's car picks the front end up, and she is charging down there. Finish line. Oh, no. Rebecca, 6.705, 189 miles an hour. She breaks out a 672 for Ketterman, who had a reaction time that started with a 1. Rebecca, her best run by a mile all weekend, but she breaks out and let Dennis Ketterman in the race. Doug Forbes now and Anthony Bertazzi. Doug in the left side. Contractor out of New Brunswick, Anthony from Ashland, Virginia, where he was also in the contracting business as well as the race car collecting business. Well, he's got a bunch of them. Listen up in the pits. Attention in the pits. Comp eliminator, come on down. Top dragster, you guys need to pull forward. We need the space. $6.29 for the win for Anthony. $6.98 for Forbes. Forbes had a problem right on the starting line. It cost him a whole lot of elapsed time, and Anthony, foot off the gas. He qualified at 228 miles an hour, across the finish line at 183. Noticing nobody was in the other lane. So Anthony gets the win after almost identical reaction times. Al Kinney and Jeff Strickland. Boy, did these guys do a lousy job of qualifying. You add these two together, they were top 10 last year. They are both former world champions. Kenny on the left side, out of Pennsylvania. For Select Performance, jegs.com. Strickland in the right side. For Sign Punk and Sticker Punk. Finished number 2 in the world last year. Al Kenny finished 8th. A couple of high horsepower, 220 mile an hour runners with just over 1/10 of a second in between them. Excuse me, race car coming through. There we go. Just trying to help. They're in. Who did the better job with the dial-in board? Looks like Strick, 628, 210 miles an hour to 618 at 222. The reaction time was a coin flip. They were both exceptional. Al Kenny was 4 back of the dial. Strickland was 2 back of the dial. And that's the name of that tune. Competition eliminator, come on down. We need you to the lanes, please. Comp eliminator. To the lanes. And word from the top end of the racetrack, something down there needs a little bit of attention, so we're going to hang up for a second before we fire off Larry Strickland and Wayne Landry. I love looking at Larry's car when it drives by here in front of the tower. Pro Charger mounted down in front, the electronic fuel injection. I'm telling you, that thing's as high-tech as like any Ferrari. Wonder how many computers it's got on it. Probably, well, more than I'd want to mess with. Neat-looking car. And a strong performing car, too. He dialed in at 625. Wayne Landry over here on the right side, I believe first car down to qualifying. We did this a couple of days ago. Ended up in the number 4 qualifying spot, dialed in at 614. They're doing something at the top end of the racetrack. When they give us the Oakley Dokley, we'll get back into it. Competition eliminator. Need you to lanes, please, for round number 1. Larry Strickland in the left. Wayne Landry in the right. Easing their way up into the staging beams. Strickland chattered the tire, and Wayne Landry goes 618. 204 miles an hour for the win. Definitely backed off the throttle when he knew that Larry wasn't coming. 891, 126 for Larry Strickland, but he knew very soon after that green bulb turned on that he was pretty much out of the race. Brings up John Toulis, driving Ed's car. Barry Brown driving his own car. Barry out of Blounteville, Tennessee. Toulis out of Orange Park, Florida. Pro Charger hanging off one and stuck right on the nose of the other. Both of them dialed in sub 6.5 seconds. But only one will come back and run tomorrow. Wow, Toulis just lit the tires up and the car hung a left. And 6:59 for Barry Brown at 189 miles an hour. He looked like he just wanted to get out of the way. John Toulis let go of the button at just the right time, but that thing spun the tire and turned left. And now it's Bones, a.k.a. Todd Ewing. If you remember him in final qualifying, that's the car that did the big wheel stand and headed for the center line. And Josh Duggins with Par Power and a Maddox chassis out of Inman, South Carolina. Ewing in from Alabama to shoe that Haug family racer. It is a brand new Miller built machine with a whole lot of pro charging going on. Dial in and left, 6:15. Duggins is dialed in at 6:56. I wonder how much extra lead is on the front of Todd Ewing's car right now. I guarantee you it's got more than it did a couple hours ago. Ewing looked like he had to pedal it. Ewing now is out of the throttle. 662 for the win for Josh. 179 the speed. You saw Ewing, it looked like it kind of squared the tire. We've seen a couple of them go up there and knock the tire off. His just squared the tire, and after a quick pedal job, I think it was pretty apparent that Josh Duggins was not going to wait around for him. Time for Matt Sackman in the Hanksterfers car. Tony Positano. Brandon Kitchen, 6:26 for Tony. Sackman, interestingly enough, Sackman dialed in at 6:27 after qualifying at 6:11. That's one of those things that makes you go, They are dialed almost heads up. Should be side by side all the way down to the stripe, but first, let's see what happens at this end of the racetrack. They're both off on the green. And a 6:30 at 213 is going to win it. 6:34 at 222 is not. Tony was 0:20 on the bulb. Matt was a little behind that, and Matt was kind of like driving the car around at the top end of the racetrack. And Tony gets the win, 6:30 at 213 miles an hour. I am very curious as to why the Sackmans would dial that far back after where they qualified, but I'm guessing they know the car better than I do. Now it's Mike Gallaccio in the left side, Les Feist in the right. Bottle Rocket on one side and a little force feeding on the other. Final call, competition eliminator. Attention in the pits. Final call, comp eliminator. You should be in the lanes. Feist is dialed in at 618, Gallaccio at 648. That's 3/10. Even I can do that math, right? And carry the 6, and yeah, 3/10. Man, 6:48 for the win for Mike. Gallaccio's reaction time was 2:46. Les had a number on the left of the dial, or the left of the decimal point. I have no idea what that was all about. But Gallaccio runs dead on 5 to win it, out in front a mile. Feist goes 6:16, and he either forgot to let go of the button or had some really wrong numbers in the box, because he was way behind at the start. Alden Miller and Robert Houston. Miller, who worked his way in, I do believe, in that final qualifying session, putting up trip 6s, dialed in now to 669. Rob Houston is dialed in at 617. There's no question when they pedal one of those blown cars, is there? 670 for the win at 191 miles an hour for Alden Miller. They were 1 foul apart in reaction time, but Robert Houston had to pedal his. Alden Miller didn't. That's why Houston was a 10th back, and Alden wasn't. Steve Furr now in the left lane, and Matthew Buck in the right. It is definitely a bit of an interesting time of the day as you watch the way the sun comes across the Christmas tree here at Gainesville Raceway. That's just something you got to take into consideration. Steve Furr's got the Pro Charger, even though it's mounted on the wrong side. And Matt Buck, you can see the nitrous purge taking place down there on his side of the racetrack. There are a lot of ways to get a little more air in the engine. Here's 2 of them. There are a lot of ways to win a drag race. Lighting a red light is not one of them. Steve Furr goes 615 at 228. Matt Buck goes 006 red, and then shuts off to a 703. Knowing that his baby Gators was over. Brings up Kenny Moses. If I remember correctly, they had an issue with this car in the last qualifying run, but obviously able to overcome that. Fred Perkins in the right side. And they're going to shut these 2 off after the burnout. Saw a little puff of smoke down there on the last car down. Didn't look too egregious from where I'm sitting, but there's a reason that we have trackside observers, because they can take a closer look, and that's exactly what's going on down there. Hey, quick reminder, tonight we get to spring forward. Doesn't that mean that we lose an hour of sleep?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, that's a stupid idea. Whose idea was that?
Not mine.
I can make fun of daylight savings being a stupid idea because my state didn't fall for it.
It has its own unique time, doesn't it?
Hey, here's an idea. Let's change our clocks and make the sun stay up longer. What? Huh? Well, apparently we're going to have to do a quick sweep down there at the top end of the racetrack. So it'll be a couple minutes before we get back after it. But no, tonight is the night. Remember to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and change your clock and then go back to sleep. Or don't. Well, they're going to do that. It'll take a minute or two. I'm going to play this because I can now. Quick little expedited cleanup at the top end of the racetrack, and I do love it when a plan comes together. So Kenny and Debbie Moses on one side. Fred Perkins, John Carroll, and the group on the other. Left lane will move first. Listen up in the pits. Top Sportsman, let's go ahead and head this way, please. Attention in the pits. Stott Ford, Top Sportsman. Let's come on up and get matched up, paired up, and ready to ride. At the stripe, give the nod to Perkins. 617 at 191 miles an hour. Moses goes 651 at 207. They were both pretty good on the tree. Ken was a little better at 010. But he runs 651 when he thought he could run 642, and Fred went by him. It's as simple as that. That is Mike Callen in the left side out of Niagara Falls. Mike, for 24-hour tire service. Well, that would be handy. You never know when you're going to need tire service at 3 a.m. I mean, not me. I'd go back to bed, but somebody might. Vaughn Caulfield. The plumber from Lake Placid. The one in Florida. Working our way down toward the end of this round number 1 of Hickory Enclosed Trailer Top Dragster. Our comp cars are loaded into staging lane. We're not quite finished here yet. Wow. 626 for Michael Callen. 673 for Von Caulfield. Factor in all the little numbers. The margin at the stripe was less than a thou, 0.0003. 3/10,000ths of a second, and Caulfield was slowing down at 196 miles an hour, and Callen just snuck by. That's like less than an inch at 200 miles an hour. It's like, I got him. Aww. Marty Williams. And Rick Mills. A couple of Floridians. Dialed 500 apart. Interestingly enough, these are both alternates. We had a designated pair, and both were broke. So the 33 and 34 guys get in and have to race each other. They both do a little tire chattering out there at this end of the racetrack. 1 thou apart in reaction time, and 1 over the dial beats a 10th over the dial. Yeah, that'll pretty much go that way every time. Rick Mills gets the win, 664 at 186. Marty goes 683. But that was not enough. And this is going to be the final pair. William Brown and Wayne Brooks. The handicap difference between the number 2 qualifier and the number 18 qualifier, 0.03 of a second. Man, they're both feeding them a whole lot of boost all the way down to the end of the quarter-mile stripe, and they're both a mile off the dial, and Brown wins it. He goes 631 at 185 miles an hour because Wayne was back of the dial 2/10, and even though he was going 225, William Brown looked over his shoulder and just snugged him up down there. So Brown gets the win, and we dive head first into competition eliminator. 31 cars in comp. So that means if they all show up for round number 1, there should only be 1 solo run, all eliminations long, and it's going to be the next one down the track. Brad Plourde. Here comes the champ, Frank Aragona. Challenger, Stig Olsen. Stig has not gotten cleanly down the track yet. And he's not going to do it this time either. Aragona, guarantee, you can see his win light. He's got that 6-cylinder shut off already. 827, 110 miles an hour. Olsen jumped the tree, goes red, yanked the front end up, hit the wheelie bar, unloaded the tires, spun the tires, and then gave up. Other than that, it was okay. But the Olsen team has really struggled with that race car all weekend long. They just need to get it calmed down off the starting line. I don't think there's any question it's making a whole lot of steam. They just can't get it calmed down enough to make the initial move. And now it's Brad Plourde. Driving Harry Schwartz's car. The AA altered on methanol, and he's just going to take the tree. By rule, on a solo run, you have to stage the car under its own power and take the tree. Like this. So Brad will advance automatically to tomorrow as the number 1 qualifier in a 31 car field. He had no scheduled opponent. And they know how fast that car is. It's not like they need to test, and it's not like Brad needs to practice. So let's just go get our wind light. Let's go have a nice dinner. Let's change our clocks, and let's come back tomorrow. Aside from the fact that these are both dragsters, is there anything else you can think of that they have in common? Anything? I'm still working on it. I haven't come up with anything yet. That's Jim Promozic Sr. That's John Freck. John has got a 4-cylinder that is almost exactly half of, well, Jim's V8. John's got a 5-speed transmission and a clutch. Jim's got an automatic. John's got fuel injection. Jim's got carburetors. John's got a rear engine. Jim's got a front engine. Jim's got a wheelie bar. John don't need no stinking wheelie bar. I'm still trying to find more in common, but I'm finding more uncommon. Or out of common. Sizable handicap here, and this ought to be fun. Because John Freck's got a really fast car, indexically speaking, and Jim Promozic has had the same problem as Stieg. They just haven't been able to get this thing to calm down enough to make the initial move. Yeah, and they still haven't. .835 for Freck at 126 miles an hour, and Promozic, I think he did a bigger burnout the second time than he did the first time. They said, along with Stieg, they just haven't been able to get that thing calmed down enough to do what it's supposed to do. Holding up for a second here while we do a little reload, and then we'll be right back at it. I'd like to say it was my idea to put all these Hemi cars and factory showdown cars in comp. It wasn't, but I wish it was. Thank you. It was Rich's idea, apparently. Handicap is not large. Hemi cars going first. Wendell House is out there ways. Danny Holt trying to catch him. Not gonna catch him. 855, 154 for the win. Danny Holt goes 886. And that thing just never made the initial hit when it was time to go. He qualified at 806, but he was well back of where he should have been at 60 feet. And just absolutely could not recover after that. And now it's Lia Pruitt in El Bandido, which for those of you who don't speak Spanish and need a translation means the Bandido. Van Puckett, the reigning division champ, on the right side. Lia's car, solid run one time at 794, and then she had a couple of early shutoffs. I'm not sure if she is looking to not tip her hand. They're going to bump their way in here. They leave almost heads up, so this should be a fun little side-by-side race. Like I said, almost heads up. And Lia takes him to the stripes. 789, 171 for the win. Van Puckett goes 792 at 156. Van Puckett left a little bit back here, and Lia made him pay down there. Hey, why not? She's been successful with everything else she's ever driven. Why not in comp? Now it's Pete Diagnolo and David Eaton. The 500-inch Pro Stock Bantam against the 320-inch super modified Cobalt. That Cobalt should run down there somewhere in the 140, 145 mile an hour zone. And that's a car that at one point in its life rolled off the assembly line, probably figuring it would drive some student back and forth to college for its whole life. And then it went through major reconstructive surgery, got turned into rear wheel drive, got a 320-inch screaming small block, and it gets to race. That's a pretty sizable handicap there, but here comes a 200 mile an hour roadster at the finish line. Zoom. Caught him way before that. 680 at 157. 882 at 138 for Diagnolo. David Eaton caught him so early. After going 169 miles an hour at the 8th, he was able to take his foot off the gas, coast to the finish line at 157 and still get the win. And it's David Barton's turn in the red Showdown Copo and Jim Kimbrough in the dragster. By the way, our density altitude is back below sea level, 350 feet below sea level. There's a reason all these things are running so fast and that we're having so much fun with it. Air from Disneyland. Or air from Atlantis. That's probably more like it. David Barton away on the green. Kimbrough's car looked like it stumbled a little bit, but then it picked up and goes 741 for the win. at 165, 794 for Barton. And Barton missed the tree a little bit back here on this end. And Kimbrough, even though he had a little bit of a stumble out there, was able to catch him and take the W. Now it's Jesse Alexander and Wes Leopold. The factory stock super modified, the A super modified automatic. Now this is going to be a race kind of like what Lia's was. They're going to be pretty close off the starting line. A couple of 7-second door cars battling it out to the stripe. Wes Leopold was not waiting around for Jesse. Man, that thing leaves solid and quick and fast and wheels up and 8 flat at 150 miles an hour. 868, 128 miles an hour for Jesse. His car was a little bit lazy at the initial hit. He gave up the chase fairly early in the run. But Leopold's car very aggressive at the initial hit, and he was not going to leave Jesse any ideas of potentially sneaking back around him. That's a couple of real comp cars. The C dragster Greg Camplain, the B altered automatic Jim Promozic. A 380-inch motor. That thing's running in B. Pretty lightweight car. Promozic extended his head start by 1/10 of a second, but it wasn't going to be enough to hold off Camplain. 722 for the win. 163 miles an hour. Promozic was 013 on the tree. Camplain was 1/10 behind. But Promozic just didn't have quite enough race car, and Camplain caught him, passed him, and beat him. Gary Wolkowitz in the Hemi car, Tony Pontillo in the dragster. A New Jersey Hemi against a Wisconsin machinist. Is that Jimmy Daniels? I think it is. Then they're keeping a really close eye on Wolkowitz. Hey, those Hemi guys stick together until it comes time to race each other at the Hemi Challenge. Here comes the dragster, Tony Pontillo. Room? Yes, room. 682 at 173. 866 for Gary Wolkowitz, who gave up the chase down there at only 126 miles an hour. We qualified it closer to 160. And now it's Randy Daniels and Garley Daniels and Doug Hamp and Travis Hilfiger, or Hilger. A very sizable contingent of factory showdown cars testing and tuning here in comp. It's kind of fun, actually. Kind of fun. Well, I think it's fun, and I got the microphone. So there. .855, 144 for Randy Daniels. Doug Hamp goes 832 at 136 miles an hour, and so far, Lia is the only one of the showdown cars that has advanced to race on Sunday. Let's see if John Sorbonne can join her, or if Richard Mace will continue the trend. Now, Sorbonne qualified at 789. That's pretty stout. Remember, that's what Lia ran in her winning effort. And Richard Mace with that super modified former Grant Lewis car. This thing has been leaving fairly violently. But Mace has not had a great car, indexically speaking. For Team Sawmill and Sarbonne, let's see if he can get this thing cleanly off the starting line. Once again, Mace's car, violent on the starting line, slams down. Sarbonne is dead late. For Mace at 151, and John Sarbonne with a 295 reaction time. He simply got away with that because Richard Mace had not been able to get his car on the index, or at least far enough under to be a threat. Bob Bailey in the left, Michael Burrill in the right. 194-inch four-cylinder against an almost 500-inch V8. A Econo versus F Econo. And the handicap is 1.5 seconds. If I'm Michael Burrill, I get down there about 1,000 feet, I'm going in duck and cover mode because I know Bailey is going to go streaking by me. You don't want to be too close to that freight train. Oh, not going to matter. A red light start for Bailey. Burrill goes 883 at 156 miles an hour, and Bailey's going to be annoyed with himself. Had a really good race car. But as it gets dark, the red lights seem to become more prevalent, especially in classes that do not allow the delay boxes or other electronic aids. And I think that's what bit Bailey. Here's Steve Schumacher and Frank Affronte. As we get down towards the end of competition eliminator. And then it'll be Stotts Ford Top Sportsman. Steve Schumacher was way red. 836, 165 miles an hour, but he gave that one away with a 216 red light. Frank Affronte goes 966 at 96 miles an hour, and I think he was probably not too disturbed by that red light in the other lane, because when his car started doing weird things on the racetrack, he just went, don't care. We can quit. We already won. And the 104 contractor's car will be back tomorrow. Now, I saw Jimmy Daniels running around down here not wearing his driving suit. And Jimmy Daniels is supposed to be up next, and I don't see his car. And I think I just watched the hand signals, and they said Ed Fratterkyle is just going to idle up there and take the tree, kind of like what Brad Plourde did. And that's exactly what the Strutmasters driver is going to do. He'll idle her on up there. The tree will go blink, blink, blink. He'll back up, and he'll come back and run tomorrow. Simple. Simple. And I do believe that's going to stick a fork in comp for the night. So we got our top sportsman cars back there. Need you guys to pull forward if you would, please, so the juniors can come in behind you. Hey, just a heads-up reminder, after we switch our clocks, we're starting tomorrow morning at 9:30. First down the track is going to be the junior dragsters in a time trial run number 2. And then we're going to go dive right into eliminations with Super Street, followed by Stock, Super Comp, Super Stock, and Super Gas. But I do need my juniors to the staging lanes, please, for your time trial session number 1. All right, ready to go with Top Sportsman, and Warren Evans going to jump in and talk a little Top Sportsman.
Well, thank you, Alan Reinhardt. 32 ultra quick door slammers getting set to pair up here for round number 1 of eliminations in the Stotts Ford Top Sportsman category. First pair, number 17 qualifier, Tyler Kahele. The guy who went to the top of the sheet, Tyler Kahele and Brian LaFlamme. Kahele left side, 2001 Chevrolet Cavalier. 689 is qualifying number, 688 his dial-in. He gets Brian LaFlamme here in round number 1. LaFlamme been running in the 20s all weekend, dials it down to a 616. Looking for some real performance here. So you hear the car spooling up there, Kahele and LaFlamme. LaFlamme, the Pro Charge machine. Straight sideways. LaFlamme straight as a string. Already got the shoots out. He was way past him even before they got 100 feet out there. LaFlamme for the win, 656 of 163. Kahele comes off the starting line. The car makes an immediate left. Little backfire. He still drives it to the other end, 1093, but not at all what Tyler was looking for. So he is done. LaFlamme back for Sunday action for round number 2. Tommy Turner and Jeff Brooks line up next. Left side of the track, that is Tommy Turner from Naples, Florida. All motor, GXP. 948 cubic inches of Pontiac power. Jeff Brooks alongside from Fredericksburg, Virginia. So Turner has made several passes. He's got a comfortable 654 number. Jeff Brooks hasn't really made it down the track once, not at least what he's looking for. His best is 710, but he's got it dialed a 654. Ditto dials up on the board. Brooks knows he can run that number. Turner knows he's comfortable with his number. So it'll be heads up at the starting line. A little wheel racing at the 1320. Let's see who predicted it better. Brooks on and off the throttle, Turner out front. Turner gets the job done. He was second off the starting line, but didn't matter. He was 1 over 6:55 at 2:14. Brooks was right there, but off the throttle by the 330, back on it by the 8th mile. 6:73 at 2:18, more speed. 2/10 behind him at the finish line, and it's Brooks out, Turner going on. David Tatum, Kurt Frederick coming up now. Tatum left side. The Fire Aid S10. 711, the lucky number there on the little pickup truck. He gets to go first. Kurt Frederick will be chasing him down by almost exactly a full bulb. 671 the dial in for Kurt Frederick. Frederick purging the nitrous there, getting the bottle pressure set just the way he likes it. Attention in the pit area, junior dragsters to the staging lanes, please, for your time run. Junior dragsters to the lanes for your time run. Reminder, our lights are on. Your lights need to be on as well. Got to have a working tail light from this point forward. And you better have it on and ready before you pull in the water box and all the way down the track. Both of them stage. See the flames out of the nitrous-assisted machine over here on the right. Can he catch him? Yes, he does. Actually, Tatum got there first. Broke out by 4. Frederick was better at the start, 672 at the finish at 196. Frederick, your winner. David Tatum, 707. That's 4 under on the 711 dial-in. Got there first, trying to make up a starting line disadvantage. A little too much down there, and he is out. Frederick goes on. Junior dragsters to the lanes, please. Junior dragsters to the lanes. Here's Donald Priest coming up. The 1994 Chevrolet Beretta out of Meriden, Connecticut. He gets the guy that was #1 in the world last year. 2019 NHRA Top Sportsman World Champion, Sandy Wilkins. Out of Mount Ulla, North Carolina. Builds horsepower. His nitrous-assisted Camaro over here on the right-hand side. Alongside the Beretta for Donald Priest. Priest 713 on the dial-in board. Wilkins 673. Again, a 4/10 difference at the starting line. Priest finally rolls in. And here comes Wilkins. Priest turns it red. Wilkins sees his win light on top of the scoreboard. He'll drive it out to the finish line, 673. Dead on with a 1, 019 on the tree. So for all of his struggles, how about a dead 1, 019 for Sandy Wilkins. Donald Priest, 004 red, 722 at the finish line. And that's the kind of stuff that helps you defend your world championship, 1 round at a time. First one in the books for Sandy Wilkins. Marty Blair, David Miller. They'll line up now. Blair backing up from the burnout, the Corvette. Still got a little room to go before he gets behind the starting line. David Miller alongside. Miller out of Canterbury, Connecticut, the Miller Motorsports S10. Blair gets the head start in the Corvette. Trying to stage with the back tires. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Okay. Blair 733 leaves first. 679 for David Miller. Reminder, tomorrow morning things kick off at 9:30 a.m. Don't forget to set your clocks forward overnight. So if you get here at 9:30 and you forgot to set your clock, you're going to be late. Both cars a little slow to stage. Blair gets in there. Here comes the pickup truck. In and ready. Both of them drifting a little bit to the right. It's going to be Marty Blair, the Corvette, getting it done. How about trip, zip at the start? Perfect light for Marty Blair, 734 at the finish line at 183. Blair, your winner. He's one over with a 3. David Miller one over with a 4, 680 on the 679. He's 025 on the light. Decent, not good enough. Blair both ends. And he'll move on. This is Norm Williams coming up now, the Cobalt left side, alongside Robert Irby's Camaro. 2018 Camaro SS right side for the runner out of Collierville, Tennessee. Irby thinks he's going to go 683. He'll be giving chase to Norm Williams' 748 dialed in machine. 48 was the number that he ran on his last qualifying pass. For Irby, 683 the number that he ran on his last qualifying pass. So they are sticking to their guns. Once again, junior dragsters to the lanes. Junior dragsters to the lanes. Both race cars moving around quite a little bit. Get to the finish line. How about a 749 for your winner, Norm Williams? Gets down there, holds on, holds him off. 749 at 179 for the win. He's one over. Irby, 007 on the light, but 4 off at the stripe by 3 thousandths of a second. Norm Williams is your winner. This is Ken Wells coming up now, the Lumina. Left side alongside Kendall Barnes. 200ths will separate him at the starting line. 757 left, 755 right. Head start by 200ths of a second for Ken Wells. So a little realignment there for Barnes, and he will pull forward once again. The Grand Am on the right, Lumino on the left. Staged and ready. Here we go. Well, the Grand Am moves left. He straightens it out. The Lumina moves right. He straightens it out. Better driving job goes to Kendall Barnes for the win. 758 on his 55. He's the winner. 175 for the speed. For Ken Wells, 766. 900ths over his prediction. So Kendall Barnes puts it together and takes the win. John Taylor, Naples, Florida, pulling up left side. You saw his Dakota earlier in Super Gas. Here he is in Top Sportsman. Dylan Stott, the Stotts Ford Top Sportsman Mustang. 2018 Mustang, 706 cubic inches of blue oval power under the hood for the young man out of Columbus, North Carolina. So 702 left side, 652 right side. That is exactly one bulb head start for the pickup truck left side. So here comes Dylan Stott trying to gather him up. Can he get the job done? He does. 654 at 208 for Dylan Stott. He'll move on to round number 2. John Taylor, better on the reaction timer, 010 to 020. But he is 4 over 706 of 192. Dylan Stott for the win. Hey, a reminder to you junior parents out there. Junior dragsters must be towed to the staging lane, not pushed in front of a scooter. Must be towed, not pushed. Very, very important. Mark Roberts, Jackie Robeson. Roberts, the split window Corvette left side. Jackie Robeson, the 66 Nova SS. First weekend out, had his hands full with that car, but it's looked pretty good this weekend. It's a 667 up on the big board down there. He'll leave second. The 709 dial in for Mark Roberts gives him the head start up here at the starting line. Again, junior dragster families, a reminder, you must tow the junior dragster, not push it with a scooter. Obviously, we wouldn't be telling you that unless it was a problem. It is a problem. Roberts can't get there. Jackie Robeson, 684 off the throttle, coasting past at 170. Robeson, your winner. Roberts, about mid-track, losing power down there. 823 at 129. Not going to be his day. Scott Underwood and Chadwick Morrison coming up now. Again, our lights are on. Your lights need to be on as well. And I can look at 4 race cars in front of me and see tail lights on 2. So get them tail lights turned on before you head down track. Underwood left, dial to 725. Left side leaves first. Chadwick Morrison will be giving chase with that 663 dialed 57 Bel Air for the North Carolina runner. Again, taillights, taillights, taillights. Our lights are on, your lights need to be on as well. Underwood is in. Here comes Morrison. Creeping forward. Like the bottom bulb. Boy, he blows the tires off of it. Just like Alan said earlier, a nice second burnout out there, about 60 feet out. Morrison, no good. Underwood is good. 737 for the win at 186. Morrison had to sit there and wait and watch. When he left the starting line, the car kicked it sideways and smoked the tires, and that was all she wrote. Greg Lair coming to a stop there after his burnout. Lair out of Canyon, Texas. His burnout is complete. Trying to get the car refired, I think, out there. Now I see him shut the door, and he's backing up right now. Left side of the track, the Greg Lair Buick GMC Camaro. He thinks he's going to go 644. He's the quicker of the 2 cars. He'll be chasing down Nick Rabin. Rabin for Rock Batteries. 2008 GTO over here on the right. Big block Chevy power for the former junior dragster driver. Starting to see some juniors lining up out here, junior dragsters. If you're not in the staging lanes and you want your time run for tonight, you need to head up this way. Just a tick over a full bulb head start. The 696 dial in for Nick Rabin lets him leave first. Greg Lair with the Linko equipped Camaro. And away he goes. Lair gets a little bit out towards the wall. So Greg Lair gets the win. Nick Rabin was 009 on the tree, had him covered all the way down there, and then breaks out by 7 thousandths of a second. 695.3 on the 696. Greg Lair crossed up, drifts out towards the wall, then drifts very close to the center line and gets the win. 9:47 at 97 miles an hour. This is Mark Miles coming up now out of Flintstone, Georgia, alongside Fast Freddie Perkins. Perkins, the J&E Construction Solutions Bel Air for A&C Performance Engine over here on the right-hand side. He'll be the chaser, 678. Mark Miles, 730 the dial in. Both turn them on at the same time. Miles kicks it sideways. He'll straighten it out. In the meantime, 688 for Fred Perkins getting the win. 163 on the speed. He had the shoots out just a little early. He was pinned off the dial in. Mark Miles sideways right off the starting line. Tries to chase him down, can't do it. 917 in the losing effort at 122. Junior Dragsters. Final call. Junior Dragsters, final call. Jeff Sutherland backing up from the burnout right now, Andover, Illinois. Fun fact for you, Jeff Sutherland, the only race car driver ever that hit me with a race car. That was fun. Ed Foley's Mustang backing up over here on the right-hand side for Speed Equipment and Chapman Auto. The Ford with Ford power, all Ford all the time for Crazy Ed Foley. 753, the dial in for Sutherland, the all-black machine left. He'll get the head start. Ed Foley trying to run a 669 as we make our way through the top sportsman first round matchups. Ford on the right, Oldsmobile on the left. Sutherland up, heads for the other end. Here comes the Mustang. Can he get him? Yes, he does. Sutherland was out there, took a 10th and a half at the stripe. Breaks out by 2. 751 on the 753. That's 2 too quick. 162 for the speed. Knew Foley was coming, didn't know where he was at. Foley 682 at 196, way off pace relative to his dial-in, but gets the win on the breakout by Jeff Sutherland. Johnny Brooks coming up now, the Cox Racing Engine 67 Chevy 2 for the Tennessee runner, taking on Rick Mills. Mills, the little Oldsmobile Forenza for SAJ Racing Engines. Mills for Arcadia, Florida, the very patriotic red, white, and blue livery on the car. As we are just about to the end of the Stotts Ford Top Sportsman category. catch up. He is wiggling and waggling. He got his hands full down there. Not going to get it done. 775 at 176 for Mills, as he wasn't going to get there. 778 on the 750. Both of them a little bit loose at mid-track. 148 for the speed, but Brooks picks up the round win, and he'll be back for second round. Mike Cobalt, Lindenhurst, New York, backing up right now. The MTK race cars, Regal engines, Oldsmobile Cutlass. He had some trouble on his last qualifying attempt, did not get to make the pass. 696 there on the windshield. Should be taken on Joe Rubicek. Rubicek's gorgeous 69 Camaro. Cannot make the call. It'll be Mike Cobalt taking the single into the next round. So the nitrous flames there for the Cutlass, and hang on down there. Cobalt getting a little sideways down there. So 779 at 130, still keeping it nice and shiny. Cobalt goes on to tomorrow. Ron Regal should be taking on Phil Rauch, but no Phil Rauch. Can't make the call. So Ron Regal gets the single into the next round. So we got one stop down there on the top end of the track. And we will get them squared up and around the bend down there, and Ron Regal will close out round number one of Top Sportsman. Juniors wait in the wings. And juniors, if you're not there, we're getting set to run you right now. Ron Regal heads towards the finish line. Pretty good looking lap right there. 686 at 200 miles an hour for Ron Regal. So Stotts Ford, Top Sportsman in the books right now. They are complete. We'll see them tomorrow for round number 2. But now it's time for the little ones here. Junior dragsters wait at the ready line. And I will step out of the way. And who better to tell you all about it than the voice of the National Hot Rod Association? And you're right, I didn't say the face of the National Hot Rod Association, but you used to be on TV. Still get a little TV time, as I recall. Mr. Alan Reinhardt.
Yeah, I'm still on TV. It's just that now it's America's Most Wanted. Did you see the total? Did you see the total? We made 40,000 viewers today. 40,000. That's awesome. We set the record yesterday at like 1,200, and then we just broke it today.
I'm sorry? That's from this morning till right now. Yeah, that's today. That's good. I've had an entire weekend that didn't get to 40,000.
I'd like to thank each one of those viewers personally. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is going to take a while. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's at least 80,000 eyeballs. So here we got with our junior cars. This is a time run for the juniors. They'll have one more time run tomorrow, and then they'll run an eliminations program. It's hard to believe the Junior Drag Racing League has been around for, what, like 25 years, right? And what's even more hard to believe is that I was still too old to be part of it when it started. Jackson Summers and Victoria at Brainerd. Going to be the first two. Jackson on the left side, Victoria on the right. Here's an interesting little junior tidbit. When you talk about the Mellow Yellow and the Lucas Oil Series, they tell me it's Victoria Beaner. I must have a misprint in my screen. I apologize. But Victoria's car with like the glow underneath and the red LEDs just like, well, basically like Ray Miller's Supergas car. But anyway, it's hard to say. Between the Lucas Series and the Mellow Yellow Series, you know how many championships have not been won by a junior racer? Well, let's see. There's Pro Stock Motorcycle and Comp Eliminator. Every other category has had at least one junior champion. Since Megan Meyer won Alcohol Dragster this year and pushed them over the top. J.R. Todd was the first to do it in Funny Car. He was a couple of years ago, obviously. We all know the story of Erica. Sean Bellamere, the Alcohol Funny Car champ. He's a former junior guy. And the list goes on and on and on. Just a time run here. We've got a couple of different categories of juniors. I think we got about 40 of them here. We got a real great turnout of the youngsters in the little cars. Jackson, pretty nice swing at the tree at 017. Victoria missed it a little bit as they'll race down to the 8th mile, and you see the scoreboards come up, 1197, 53 miles an hour for Victoria. Jackson goes 1211, also at 53 miles per hour. It's ridiculous to think that this whole thing started just because there was a kid in New Jersey who couldn't catch a baseball. Mason Summers. And Tyler Nunez. Over on the right side. Tyler's undefeated this year?
Correct.
Ooh. We should put a bounty on Tyler. Anybody got a cupcake? Well, I mean, you can't bounty junior kids with a whole lot of things, but you could use cupcakes. They've been waiting all day for their crack at the racetrack here. I know why Tyler's undefeated, because he gets all his terrible reaction times out of the way in time trials. Because that was not a good one. Well, you know, hey, it's late. He's young. 12:22, 51 miles an hour for Tyler Mason. 14:15 at 35 mphs. And now it's Waylon Bennett and Tanner Monsey. So Tanner, 8 years old, out of Venice, Florida, says he's a landscaping contractor. That was funny. Somebody somewhere is laughing. I just keep thinking, if they'd had junior dragsters when I was 7 years old, my dad would have told me, yeah, when your grades get better, so that would have been pretty much the end of that. 12:09 for Tanner, 52 miles an hour. 14:05 for Waylon at 44 mphs. Next up, the Dew crew over on the left side, that is Nolan Callahan. And Aaron Kennedy in the right. Out of Brazelton. How about Nolan with the best reaction time now at 0:16 up in the ante 1. $12.55 for Nolan, 50 miles an hour at the stripe, 12:11. 51 miles an hour for Aaron. And here comes Lloyd Harding. And Lincoln McMaster. I think it's awesome you could be 7 years old and have your own race car. Be cool to be 7 years old again. What would I do different if I could go back and be 7 years old again? Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. Both of them jump in on the deep side. Let's see if we can better that 16 bulb. Not this pair. Who said you should give me a raise? $11.74, 53 miles an hour for Lloyd Harding. 14:03 at 45 for Lincoln, and I believe this is going to be the last one in the age group. And then we'll move up. Caden McLean going to be our final car in this age group. Man, you can really hear when they start the next one, right? A little pop and bang. It's like when you go from an alcohol car to a nitro car, when you move up in age group. By the way, I love the mentality. Love the mentality. It is your classic, typical racer mentality that's began in the beginning of time and continues on to this day. Caden jumps early and draws the red eye. It's like, okay, we have a 5-horse Briggs & Stratton on a little toy race car. What if we made a billet block? What if we upped the compression to 14-1, put alcohol in it? 11.93, 53 miles an hour for Caden, and we will move up in age group here. Well, apparently the juniors like the big cars. Not all of them have gotten the tech cards up here so they can be entered in the computer, but we got a 926 at 72 miles an hour on one side, 880 at 72 on the other. And I apologize for not having all the information on the drivers. I know who this is. This is Andrew Grayson in the left side. And it's Bladen Core on the right. Bladen sponsored by Beeline Racing Engine. Andrew by High Five Energy. That's a good name for an energy, High Five. I mean, it's not as good as Full Throttle. Full Throttle is a great name, but High Five's not bad. You know why nobody's put nitro in a junior car? because they had to make a rule against it or somebody would have. That's why I can't be the only one that looks at some of these and goes, come on, man. I mean, I think it's awesome for the kids. All right, let's ease them on up there now. He's running basically the 890 category, so that's what we're shooting for. Stage set ready. Andrew Grayson gets the better of the two reaction times this time as they blast their way down to the 8th mile. 9:11, 72 miles an hour for Bladen. Andrew goes 9:23 at 68 mphs. Brings up Blaine Zaskowski. And since Zaskowski's out of Michigan, I'm going to assume that he is with Team Zaskowski, as in Superstock. And I'm going to assume that the car in the left lane has pedal clutch in it. You ever seen a Zaskowski with a converter? There ain't no way that kid doesn't have a pedal clutch. Like, but Dad, nobody else has one. That's right, kid. And I do not have the driver information in the right lane. I promise by tomorrow we'll get this, get everybody entered in. Because the good news is we got an extra hour tonight to do that. Oh, no, wait. How about a 004 light? Now I really need to know who that kid is. .925, 71 miles an hour after a 004 initiation for our mystery driver over there on the right side. Zaskowski goes 897 at 73 miles an hour. And check out Elena Cardin's taillights. I mean, look at that. I'm getting dizzy just watching it. You should put an LED board that has like a flashing message across the back, you know, like Eat at Joe's or something like that. Briley Sexton out of Georgia on the right side. Now these both show the 1190 class, but I don't believe they are. I believe they're faster than that. I believe in a lot of things. I believe in Santa Claus. The longer you believe in Santa Claus, you realize as soon as you quit believing in Santa Claus, you get shorted one present. Because I used to get something from Mom and Dad, and then I'd also get something from Santa. When people quit believing in Santa, then they just get a present from Mom and Dad. That, you know, nobody doubles that thing up. How about Atlanta? 891. That's 73 miles an hour. Briley goes 9 flat, also at 73 miles an hour, but Elena's so far closest to the dial. So 004 light is best and 891 is best. Not on the same run, but that's going to bring up Matt Peterson and Maddock Douglas. Maddock Douglas all the way down from New Hampshire? Really? A New Hampshire junior claiming division. Yeah, why not? He's got one of those dancing LEDs on the back too. Is that what these kids do when they're not racing their cars? Everybody just turns on their LED lights and they have their own disco. They even know what a disco is? Apparently we got one that didn't clear down there. Is that? There we go. All right, send them. Quick quiz, who is the second person to drive a junior dragster? You know this answer? Yes? That's not her name anymore. That's right. Jill Babe. Jill Babe. Who is the oldest person to drive a junior dragster? At the national event exhibition level, the oldest person to drive a junior dragster, Mike Salinas. True story, in Seattle last year, he was checking out the juniors, talking to one of the kids, and he said, "Can I drive it?" And the kid said, "If you can fit in it, you can drive it." And Mike got in it and drove it. That's a record that'll probably stand for a while. Maddox Douglas with an 0.12 reaction time, pretty strong, and then a 9.79, a little quick. Well, I guess not if they're trying to run 8.90. See, some of these kids are on different index brakes, so I'm kind of guessing as I go here. A 9.20 at 70 miles an hour for Matt Peterson, who also had a pretty strong reaction time. I mean, not double O, but not bad, not bad. Cooper Hancock now, out of Commerce, Georgia. We're going to be in his neck of the woods here coming up in about, 6 weeks or so. And Lucas Clark. One of the most awesome programs that we do at the national event level is when the juniors are allowed to come out and not race in competition, but at least make an exhibition run. I mean, it'd be like a little leaguer be able to go out in Yankee Stadium during the 7th inning stretch, right? Ain't going to happen. Happens here. Both Cooper and Lucas were really chomping at the bit to hit the gas, and both of them left on the early side of the tree down there. An 8.98, 73 miles an hour for Cooper. A 9.21 at 70 miles an hour for Lucas. And now it's Johnson Anderson and Alyssa Rabin. Or Rabin. Rabin. Alyssa out of Florence, South Carolina. Jonathan out of Williamson, Georgia. See, where's Homer when we need him? This is Homer's element, right? Homer loves the junior kids. Hey, the more favorites you have, the more apt you are to actually get your favorite. Both drivers away on the green. Johnson left side, Alyssa right side. 8th mile stripe. 9.03. 78 miles an hour for Alyssa. Jonathan runs 9.18. Or Johnson, excuse me, not Jonathan. Johnson runs 9.18. That's 72. And now it's Haley Peterson out of Punta Gardens, Florida. And Dylan McNichol out at Northport. Dylan proudly on Team Lucas Oil. How about a 9.09 at 71 miles an hour for Dylan? While Haley goes 9.17 at 71 miles an hour. Hey parents, you need to remind your kids, we love having you come out here and race, but we're racing to the 8th mile and turning off right past the scoreboards. If your kid's going to stay on the gas till the quarter mile, it could be his last time down the track this weekend. Here's Riley Kinsey in the left side. Don't have the driver info on the right driver as of yet. That's a couple of pretty good reaction times with 018 getting the better of 024. And a 799 at 81 miles an hour. That's low ET so far. Riley goes 826 at 77 miles an hour. We're getting into some of the older kids. And as they get older, they're allowed to go faster. You think these two had a side bet on reaction time? I'm thinking 006 red, 004 red that they probably did. 794, solid run. 77 miles an hour for Jada Sexton, 799 at 80 miles an hour for my unidentified driver. And next up, it's going to be Jake Sickler out of Palm Beach Gardens, and Lauren Hudson out of Davidson, North Carolina. Jake and Lauren ready. Jake and Lauren off and running. Jake misses the bulb by 5 thousandths. 792. He's right where he needs to be on that dial. 811 at 79 miles an hour for Lauren Hudson. 792 at 81 miles an hour when you're sitting, what, about 4 inches off the ground down there? Pretty solid stuff. Aaron Kinsey now out of Crawfordsville, Georgia. And Peyton Shook out of Northport, Florida. Reading left to right. I know we're getting too serious with these LED lights when these guys start showing up with an alternator. Aaron's ready. Peyton's ready. Blasting down there looking for that 790 index. 794. 74 miles an hour and 815 at 81 miles an hour for Peyton. Peyton's got a big speed, needs a little more ET, and Aaron, solid ET. Even though a little down in the speed department from some of the show-offs. Sarah Allen coming up next out of Allen's Speed Shop. She's going to be in the left side. Don't have the information on the purple car over here in the right lane. All right, listen up, drivers and parents. Reminder, drivers, we're racing to the 8th mile, and we're turning off right at the scoreboards. We've got guys down there on the racetrack, just past the scoreboards, to wave everybody off the track. We've had a couple of drivers stay on the gas to the finish line stripe, and if you do that tomorrow, you're out for the weekend, okay? We're racing to the 8th mile, shutting off at the 8th mile and turning off past the scoreboards. Make sure your driver knows that. We're just waiting now. We get one cleared on the top end of the racetrack that did not lift at the 8th mile and did not make the turnoff. And we're not going to hold up and wait for this tomorrow. So just make sure your driver is aware. Speaking of tomorrow, juniors are going to lead us off tomorrow morning. Firing off at 8:30 after we all reset our clocks tonight. Except those of us from Arizona that don't reset our clocks anytime. After the juniors, we'll dive right into Super Straight, then Stock, then Super Comp, then Super Stock, and Super Gas. Okay, I just got yelled at because it's dark in here, and I read 8:30 for 9:30. We start tomorrow morning at 9:30, not at 8:30. 9:30 after you change your clocks. Sorry about that.
Well, I thought you meant 8:30.
9:30 tomorrow morning.
That's why I didn't correct you.
Who was it that called? Tell Renee thank you.
From Renee.
Okay. 9:30 tomorrow morning. Juniors on the track, followed by Super Street. Well, that little delay certainly didn't bother the driver in the right lane, huh? 0:15 on the reaction time. Nice swing there. 8:04 on the racetrack at 81 miles an hour. Obviously problems for Sarah Allen. She hit the gas and her car definitely did not do what it's supposed to do. Limping down the racetrack at 12.18 seconds at only 53 miles an hour. Trip McCarty out of Georgia. McCarty Auto Parts. And Jace Clark out of Chaplin, South Carolina. Over here on the right side. Man, that was like a Doug Coletta shallow stage. Blink, 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 blink. .810, 79 miles an hour for Jace. Need to tune up that reaction time just a little bit. 828 at 80 miles an hour for Tripp. And we've got Wesley Clark on the right side of the racetrack now. And an unidentified youngster in the left lane. Sometimes you just don't want to give your real name. Left lane jumps early by 4 thousandths of a second. Runs 8 flat at 81 miles an hour, 809 at 80 miles an hour for Wes Clark. Here is Katie Sloat and Wyatt Palmatier. That's a familiar name around here. Wyatt with sponsorship from FDI. Does FDI make junior clutches? Paul probably does. Blinking their way carefully into the stage. That's a 797 at 74 miles an hour for Wyatt. Katie goes 806 at 79 miles per hour. And here's Kyle Rice. And Maverick Palmatier. Maverick, another member of that FTI farm team. If you've got aspirations in the sport, we've got a whole lot of folks that are proving it can be done. Some of these older kids are actually already getting their feet wet in the big cars before they age out of the juniors. Not too shabby down there for Maverick. 012 on the tree, 797 on the track. Kyle Rice goes 803 at 81 miles per hour. Tyler Vanaco on the right side. And an unidentified Ute. The two Utes, the unidentified Ute looks like doing a little last minute idle adjustment there on the left lane, and now they give him a little boost rolling forward to the starting stripe. Tyler kind of anxious down there with the throttle foot at 055 red, and then 810. 80 miles an hour, 813 also at 80 miles an hour for the left lane. 80.80 as a matter of fact. Now it's Haley Shook and Aaron Reynolds. Aaron Reynolds from Space Coast Speed and Custom. That's what you need. NASA working on your junior car. Why not? As a matter of fact, sometimes it is rocket science. 005 light for Aaron Reynolds. Now that's showing off after shallow staging. You see him blink the bulb? 799, 75 miles an hour for Aaron. Haley goes 813 at 80 miles per. Now it's Braden Davis in the left side. Jordan Triana in the right. Jordan out of the Dixie Body Shop in that Boss-built car. Braden Davis out of Davis Transport. He, of course, is the CEO over there. Well, he will be someday. It's amazing how far these things have come. The first junior dragster was literally some bent-up electrical conduit and an old trackside aluminum sign. These are slightly more sophisticated. Looks like final pair. We're going to close the night out with a solo. $788 for Braden. They're shooting for 790, so he's just a tick on the quick side. 830, 77 miles an hour for Jordan. And then there was one. Madison Wilson. Madison, that's Mike Boss-built car. For Mickey Thompson, going to be the final car down the track. The last light of the night comes on red. And the last scoreboard of the night lights up to say 799 at 81 miles an hour. Thanks to all the juniors and all the parents for spending the day and closing the show. Remember, you get to kick us off tomorrow as well, 9:30. Don't forget to reset your clocks tonight if they don't do it automatically. But 9:30 tomorrow morning, we'll start off with the juniors and then go into final eliminations. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. What did we end up with? 42,282 people watching online today at some point in time. A new record. And we appreciate each and every one of them. Hope you guys are going to tune in tomorrow. Tell your friends to do the same on dragracer.tv. Or, of course, nhra.tv. We'll be back bright and early in the morning. Big thanks, as always, to Warren for jumping in and giving me a break from time to time. Thanks to everybody here at the racetrack. We're going to put this one into the books, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.